If you're looking for a fun, no prep way to get your students excited about music, I've got you covered. What if you could turn a simple scarf into a powerful teaching tool? Today I'm talking with Leanna O'Brien, founder of Soaring Scarves Academy, about the magic of movement, you know how much I like my movement, and how it can help your students master everything from dynamics to rhythm.
It's the Happy Music Teacher!
Are you an elementary music teacher who's frustrated and overwhelmed? I'm Jeanette Mahalchik, a happy music teacher who loves teaching every day, but it wasn't long ago I was in your shoes. Join me Wednesdays to help you find happy in your music classroom. I am so excited today and happy to welcome Leanna O'Brien to the podcast. And at the time of this recording, it is only about a week and a half after the Make Music Magic Summit, and Leanna was one of our fabulous sponsors. And she also did just an incredible presentation. And I decided that I needed to have her on the podcast, first of all, to talk about her purpose, because she and I are kind of kindred spirits in movement. And second, because I just need everybody to know about her resources. So, Leanna, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. I've been loving working together. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. So I just give my audience kind of an idea of how you started down this journey and ended up where you are today.
Well, it actually started where the first school, about now going on 10 years ago, that I taught at let me design my own curriculum. And it was this daunting task at first, but I dove right into it and found my passion for not only lesson planning, but really planning lessons based around what I saw my students needing more of, which for me was movement. And I really didn't think about really putting my curriculum in front of any other teachers until COVID happened. And when COVID happened, my students, a lot of them didn't have Chromebooks. A lot of my students didn't have access to internet except through their parents' cell phones. And I'm scrambling around trying to find out how can I make sure my students are having some sort of music class. And what I ended up doing is my wonderful now husband is a videographer. And even though it looked shaky and it looked like all sorts of fun mishaps, we were able to record these videos, these long form videos where I would take a lesson and use the things that I knew that my students loved. My students loved scarf dancing. My students loved singing with movement. My students loved connecting classical music with composition, improvisation. And I did all of this and was able to post it first just to my school's website and then on YouTube and things like that. And the response that I got, not only from my students, but from their parents saying that now music was their favorite part of the day. And yeah, oh my goodness. And parents going, oh my goodness, my student knows Vivaldi's Autumn. Like, what is
Love it.
But then from there, I kept on getting reached out to by other teachers for my resources and how they were bringing them into their classrooms and how easy they found movement and how that used to be something that, you know, they were daunted by, but how it became something that they loved through some simple resources that I was able to provide. And one thing led to another. And here we are now, almost only 5 years later or so, with the Soaring Scarves Academy, but it's been a crazy ride and I've been loving every minute of it.
Seriously, talk about an accidental businesswoman, right?
Oh, 100%. This was not something that I planned to do while I was teaching, but it really has been something that I think has made me a better teacher. And the fact that I get to be a resource to other teachers and a mentor to new teachers has just filled my cup in so many ways. And I cannot see myself slowing down anytime soon.
Wow, that's amazing. So you are still teaching full time along with running this academy, yes?
No, I actually did. The last now going on 2 years, my husband and I, we I got the travel bug. And so I've been teaching full time, but now virtually. So I'm not in the classroom currently, where we've been traveling in our travel trailer. So I'm teaching, I'm running the Soaring Scarves Academy. And then some days when I'm teaching, I'm in the Grand Canyon, and other days we're in San Diego. It all changes. But we are looking to settle down again, and looking at a couple different teaching positions actually right now.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting. So tell me more. I need to know more about the traveling and the virtual teaching. That sounds like ideal.
Oh, well, there are definitely parts of it that are not ideal. There are definitely parts of it that have been a total stumble, but we were both now getting towards our late 20s. Now I'm 30, and we both just looked at each other. We had bought a house in Rhode Island, and we knew that if we didn't start traveling now, which there were so many places that we wanted to see, that it really, the way that we were dreaming of wasn't going to happen. So
Mhm.
we both sat down now going on 2 summers ago, and we looked at each other and said, all right, let's just do it. And I was just writing it. I have a journal that I keep, that, and I was just writing in it this morning, just so grateful that I had this kind of moment of bravery where I put way more into the Soaring Scarves Academy and had that faith that, it was going to do exactly what it's doing now, and that we could do this. So we sold our house, we bought a travel trailer, and it has
Oh my
been
gosh.
absolutely wild ride. For the last almost over 2 years now of really
Wow.
full-time traveling. All
An adventure. And how did you end up landing a gig as in virtual teaching? Like what kind of virtual teaching are you doing?
Well, how I ended up was because I thought I was just going to do the Soaring Scarves Academy, and I could have. But I kept on teaching my husband things, and he's a great learner. But he did sit me down and held my hands a little and was like, "I think this is something you need to do while we're out, because I now know how to sing and I now know how to play the piano." Oh my goodness. I think I ended up taking on students out of necessity for the sanity of my husband. So
Oh
I
my gosh, I love it. That I'm just as you're saying this, I'm picturing my Randy, my husband, who is not at all musical. Full transparency, he was kicked out of his high school chorus. Can you imagine how mean? Like, I can't imagine ever doing that, but he was kicked out. And, I love him dearly. He's an amazing, amazing, talented man, but just not at all musical. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what would that look like if I was trying to teach him? Now, he did play the piano when he was little. So he's got some musicality in him and he loves music. He loves all kinds of music, but I was like giggling because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Randy would be like, just stop. Can't do it.
go get students, go get them now.
Exactly. That is awesome. So we talked about at the beginning that we're kind of kindred spirits in our movement. And during your presentation, you spent a lot of in the Make Music Magic Summit. You spent a lot of time talking about your why, as far as why you feel like students need more movement, and just tell us a little bit about that because to me that was I loved everything about your presentation, but the most important thing to me was that piece of it.
Well, it's exactly like you said, Jeanette. You and me, we've both kind of stumbled into this, but I really stumbled when I just kept on meeting roadblock after roadblock of my students don't care about classical music. So adding scarf dancing in, and suddenly my students cared and didn't just care, but they were learning it and they were experiencing it and they were enjoying it. And then, oh, well, here's another roadblock. My students don't want to sing. They're stressed out. Okay, get them moving. And now suddenly here they are, they're singing, they're not stressed, they're engaging, and they're improving every second, and that just kept on happening. And I'm very lucky, that I'm somebody who I'm a consistent learner, and I just want to keep on learning and keep on figuring out, well, how can I make this better? How can I make my students understand this more? They're confusing the fundamentals. Okay, well, what if I put it in their bodies? And so each roadblock just led me to movement. And it
Mhm.
really wasn't, and that just became part of who I was as a teacher. But it wasn't until I started mentoring other teachers and needing to
Mm.
gather the data to prove, and a lot of times you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to have the thing and then find the data, but that is how it ended up happening for me. But only because the data was so readily available. The data that shows that students who are actively engaged and are participating with you, not being lectured to, are the students that are way more are going to be able to go, instead of 5 to 10 minutes of sitting, from 15 to 30 minutes of
Mhm.
actively participating. That's when they're engaged. That's when we have their attention, is when we have made it an experience. And a lecture will never be an experience.
No.
And it was really when I started mentoring other teachers where I went, what are you doing in your class where you're losing them? And I kept on going, well, I was talking to them about what a dotted half note is. I'm like, talking to them about it.
No.
That's the least effective way to ensure that they're going to understand something. Get
Mhm.
them moving, get them singing, get them having an active experience. So no, that is something that I just kept on having to find a roadblock, and then realized that my way past that roadblock was going to be movement.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree with you that, first of all, our kids need more movement, because when I was a kid, you are not in this age group, but when I was a kid, my dad and mom would be like, get out of the house and don't come back till dinner. And we would go out and, we would get ourselves into trouble. And then we'd have to problem solve our way out of it, because we did not want to tell our parents that, oh my gosh, this is what we did,
That's what
Uh-huh. And we were running and riding bikes, and, we were constantly out and moving in nature and all the things. Today's children aren't doing that, for lots of reasons. One of the first reasons is, oh, you can't see it. There we go. Is this because, you know, we put them on devices. I mean, I can't imagine, like, I see babies with devices, and there's definitely a time and place for a device. If you're like cooking dinner and you need a couple of minutes, I mean, put them in front of the television or give them the iPad. I totally get that. But, so many children are just on these devices all the time, and they're not learning communication skills, and they're not learning how to be good people, and they're not learning how to, all the things that children are naturally supposed to do, the moving and the running and the playing and the play-based learning and all the things. And I think that's one of the things that impressed me the most about what you're doing is you discovered it naturally by, and I can't remember exactly what you said a moment ago, but not only are you a lifelong learner, but you're a lifelong observer, And I think that that's something that's really important. That really differentiates between the good teachers and the great teachers, because the great teachers are the ones who are going to look at what their students are doing and revise instead of saying, I'm correct and I'm the adult. There a lot of that goes on. You're talking about, you watched what your students interacted with and engaged with, and you went with that. And really, that's like, you're never going to do well as a teacher unless you can be let go of, like, I'm the adult and I know what's most important, and let your students lead the way.
Oh no, 100%. And it's not just that, but it's that bravery that it takes for a teacher to step out of their comfort zone, to be a
Yes.
little vulnerable and say, all right, guys, I might not know exactly what we're doing here, but we're going to do it together. And I
Mhm.
feel like that's where the another reason that I love being on the Make Music Magic Summit was I got to talk to teachers about an easy way to do it. Because if you immediately, well, I have to change everything now. And that's not the way that's the way for every teacher to get overwhelmed. We are already stepping out of our comfort zone if we're inviting movement in and we haven't done that. We're already being brave, right? We're already being vulnerable, but we have to do it in ways that are still going to light our own fireworks as a teacher.
Yes.
Still going to make us comfortable. Because if we're not, there's no way we're going to engage our students. If we switch everything, throw out all our expectations, then we're not going to have a class that's experiencing, we're going to have a class that's in chaos, right? So already the amount of teachers that I've seen that, like you said, there are teachers who get so stuck in, well, this is how I've always done it, you know? And to work with those teachers also is a blessing, where I'm just like, all right, that's how we've done it. Do you see it still being effective? If it was, great. If it's not, how can we change it? Where can we go from here, and how can we make it better?
Right. I love that. What is one way that you help a teacher who maybe has done it the same way I talked to a lady yesterday who's a new member of the Happy Music Teacher Academy, and she has also signed up for your curriculum, and she's looking hardcore for a curriculum, and I think she told me she was in her 60s. So, and she's probably been doing things the same way for a really long time, right? So how do you approach somebody that's in that situation where they've been doing things the same way, and maybe they're just afraid to change? What do you say to them, or what do you help them with that will get them feeling comfortable stepping out of their comfort zone? Because I loved that you said that it's not, you really do have to make yourself vulnerable and say, okay, this might not go well, and this might not be my thing, but I'm going to try it.
No, 100%. And that is the things that I would say is, we're going to start small in everything, right? We're going to start small. We're going to find our baby steps. We're going to find what makes us comfortable. And already, if you have teachers that are listening to podcasts like these, right, who are going out of their way to find professional development that lights the spark within them, right? Then you're already taking step one, right? You're already looking outside your comfort zone just by finding resources like these. And the resources are endless. The one thing that I would say for a teacher who is going, okay, wait, I see the data that shows that movement-based learning is the way to go. All right, I want to take it into my classroom. How can I do that? And I would say, to build your lesson plan, to build your structure where it's already built in. I love using Google Slides or some sort of presentation, even when I didn't have a smartboard, which for my last couple of years teaching I did, or when I'm teaching virtual, obviously I can just do something exactly like this, share my screen. But when I didn't, I had some sort of projector. And even if my lesson didn't really need a presentation, I still made sure to use it, because then the movements are built in. I can have the free resources, and they are everywhere. YouTube is just a teacher's best friend, because oh my goodness, it's just the simplest way to, again, make sure that your students are going to get an experience, either just a rhythm play along, where again, there's nothing that you have to prepare. If your students know Ta and TT rhythms, there are hundreds of play alongs that you can put in. Right now, it's not going to be as effective as getting them up on their feet. And again, where my home is, scarf dancing to Beethoven's Fifth. No, it won't be as effective, and it won't teach as much, but it will start you. It will get your students moving. And maybe then, instead of just using it where your students are clapping along, maybe you say, okay, get up, put it in your feet. Can you do TTs with your tiptoes and Tas with a big stomp, right? How can we change that? So now, again, clapping's great. Full body is even better, but any movement break is necessary and effective. So I'd say that teacher who is going, I want to do this, find the movement breaks that you're calling to you and that are easy to do, can start you building the expectations with your students, because we don't want to just throw something completely new at them and then be like, sink or swim, guys, and then you watch.
Right.
We want to build it up so that they're also building the expectations of safe bodies, right? Having their eyes on you and having their voices off in between, so that you're building the capabilities they have to do more movement breaks at the same time as building their expectations to keep on meeting yours.
I love it. Yeah, and that makes total sense. It kind of like a step-by-step process. So tell us a little bit about the Soaring Scarves Academy and, some details like what does it look like in there and why should people be interested in it?
So the Soaring Scarves Academy was only supposed to start off as a hub where I put my scarf dances. And I have scarf dances to tons and tons of classical songs where teachers can either be learning them through my teacher breakdowns, where I show you how to best put dynamics, articulation, high pitch versus low pitch into your students' bodies using these classical songs that then you can connect to composers and things like that. You can either do that or you can use my follow along videos where you just put me up on the screen and your students follow along with me as I show them how to do
Mm,
it.
good
Um,
sub plans.
oh, it's wonderful substance because you literally have to do nothing.
Right, which is nice.
But that's how it started. But 5 years apparently was a long time because I also started again mentoring other teachers. So I have over 20 hours of professional development where I show you all teachers how to bring movement into their classroom through singing, through pitch analysis, through improvisation, through composition, and again, using movement as the main tool. So I have 20 plus hours of professional development on the site. I have a whole video catalog of movement breaks that I found effective, meaning hand sign singing, a sailor went to sea. And again, breaking those down to show you how I bring them into my lessons, how to sing through them, how to make sure that your students engage. So I have all of my movement breaks. And then I also went on because I had a hard time collecting data and assessments until again I put them into movement. And now instead of having my students complete a worksheet this coming fall, what I have a lot of my teachers do is have them cut out these wonderful autumn leaves that have either ta-ti-ti rhythms, counting rhythms for older students, and you stand in the middle of the room and you throw these leaves up in the air and then they complete a worksheet.
Oh my gosh, love
Oh,
it.
it's so fun. It's so fun. And just that small tweak of, wait a minute, just add movement. And now suddenly the data that I gather is so much more effective and so much more inspired by my students. When I did that in the classroom, that was the thing that my students look forward to the most is, "Oh,
Mhm.
can't we catch the leaves? Can't we catch the leaves?" Oh, it was so fun. So then I have a whole category on how to bring assessments into your classroom, but through movement. And then it ended up being a full curriculum where every month I put 3 new lessons on for anyone in my membership. I add 3 new lessons monthly, but then you also have, it's now over 100 lessons that are ready to go K through 8th grade. And again, with those Google Slides presentations, instead of trying to go through hours of professional development, instead of trying to create these lesson plans on your own, I've really tried to make it so that these resources are no prep. They can be used for subs, or they can be something that, as long as you have the Google Slides and the written lesson plan as well, you know that your students will be working on their literacy skills in every single lesson. You know that goes with the national standards for music education. It is all based on movement. That again, I have all the resources to show teachers how to do that because it does feel overwhelming at first. And all of mine go to stories. To me, if you tell a child a fact, they'll forget it in a day. But if you tell a child a story, they will remember it for life. So,
Love it.
oh my goodness.
And again, we're kindred spirits there too, because with
That's
my
just the way to
stories.
do it, right? That's the way to do it. Is like
Mhm.
the second that you have a book in your hands, your students are already going to be more engaged than if you're
Yep.
lecturing. Oh, just start with a story. It's the most
Yeah,
magical way.
absolutely. Absolutely. So what I'm hearing is that you have 3 new lessons a week. That would be a lot. 3 new lessons a month that include a visual element and a lesson plan, and then sometimes worksheets, that sort of thing. Am I getting that right? And then video as well. That's amazing. And then professional development. So give me some samples. Like what's your favorite professional development in there?
Have so a couple on there that I know are really big for the upcoming seasons. I have professional development on bringing Tchaikovsky into the classroom. Oh my goodness, I love the scarf dances that I've made for Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker, just some Russian tea dance or Russian dance, tea dance, and there's one more, March. And so taking those three, and if you take those three scarf dances and bring them into your lessons, then it not only gives your students a steady beat challenge, it gives your students active experiences on articulation, staccato versus legato. It gives your students active, engaging experiences on dynamics. With those three scarf dances are 3 lessons that bring also a lot of different holidays in, because we want to make sure that we're being inclusive. There's a Christmas, there is a Hanukkah, and there is a Kwanzaa lesson, as well as just some winter theme ones, especially if you're in a school that does not allow holidays. That was my school's view for a while, until I was like, I'm bringing all of the holidays in. Let me do that. And then I was able to talk to my school about just how to do that.
So also, like, you could potentially use your curriculum all year long. And
oh no, this is a full
it
curriculum.
could be full. Wow, that is good to know, because I think the number one thing that I hear from music teachers when I'm working with music teachers is that they're missing a curriculum, and there are curriculum out there. There is it curriculums. I think it's curriculum. There are plenty out there. You've got all the big players, and then you've got the smaller players, and there's plenty out there, but a lot of people are kind of picking and choosing from different curricula. So, and that's a fine way to do it, but it's also nice to be able to, okay, I've got this one curriculum that I really am using all the time, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that it can be a comprehensive learning experience all the way around. So if people want to get in touch with you, what is the best way? And I know you've got video play-alongs out there, and I have on my Friday Fun Day, starting in this coming week, I'm going to start every Friday, I share a video play-along or a brain break type of thing. And this episode is going to come out in September for Classical Music Month. And so if you are listening to this in September, there will be every month or every week, we're going to share, I think we'll just share one of Leanna's resources every Friday. So it'll be one of her, because I know she's got a lot up on YouTube, and you can find out how to get onto my Friday Fun, which is an email that I send out. If you just go to thehappymusicteacher.com/curriculum, and you'll get my curriculum maps, and you will also get access to those Friday Fun videos. But where can people find you? We need to know the name of your YouTube channel, and we need to know how to find you.
Wonderful. Well, I would say whenever somebody watches me, I'm always saying go on my YouTube, because I have a lot of professional development on there. It's just Soaring Scarves Academy. The second that you search me, there I am. But just to make sure that my style does fit with who you want to be as a teacher and where you want to grow to. So I have hours and hours of professional development. I do have you play-alongs that I've only just started adding. I do have some of my scarf dances that I have a couple teacher breakdowns, so you can bring them into your classroom yourself. Or I have follow-alongs where you can just put me up on the screen, and if it's the sub day, then hey, they'll be moving. But also just for a movement break in general, so they can find me there. I also run a private Facebook group. Again, that's just Soaring Scarves Academy. I tried not to get too sneaky. I also have a blog that you can look up where I talk about a lot of the same things, Jeanette, that you and I are talking about right now. So again, that's just Soaring Scarves Academy, which the blog is going to be on my website, where everybody right now, I haven't taken it down. I should be taking it down by September, but maybe I'll leave it up. Everyone can grab 2 free months still with the Soaring Scarves Academy full membership, just to again make sure that teachers, I know what you mean, where it's like picking and choosing, right? And they go from curriculum to curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I would say about that is if you have a budget, wonderful. But so many teachers do not have a budget and are using their own private funds for the resources that they need.
Right.
Already that makes that sets up a lot of roadblocks for me in my mind and in my heart. So that's why I every summer make sure to do the 2 free months that you can go ahead, start, take a look, see if I am the right fit for you. Wonderful. If so, if not, and you get charged, then I always make sure to give the first month back.
Nice.
Yeah, because we know we don't have the resources that we need.
We don't have that money. They're not paying us enough.
What? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. No, not even slightly. So making sure that as a teacher, I'm understanding what other teachers are still facing. So I should still have those 2 free months. It might be the 1 month by the time that you are hearing this, but I always make sure to have some sort of freebie. Check it out for yourself. Cancel anytime. But that's just at the soaringscarvesacademy.com because I really try to keep everything on those one on that
Got to
one.
keep it simple so everybody can find you, right? Well, Leanna, it has been such a pleasure talking to you. I'm so excited to get your message out there even a little bit more. And I really, really appreciate you taking your time today.
Thank you so much for having me on. I always appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. Explore more podcasts at www.teachbetterpodcastnetwork.com.
Well, that's all I have for you today. But before I go, I want to remind you, keep learning, keep growing, and keep being fabulous you.